This is VK6ARN, Newswest. We are a community organisation and we've been serving up the best amateur radio news in Australia since 1931. Hi, I'm Clinton, VK6FCRC, and this is Newswest for the 25th of June 2023. Now over to Bob, VK6POP.
This story comes from The Advocate newspaper in Burnie, Tasmania, dated Monday the 16th of August 1954, and it's a report on the recent then Remembrance Day contest. And it says, Launceston, the annual Remembrance Day radio contest, which perpetuates the memory of radio amateurs who died in World War II, was held during the weekend. More than 2,000 amateurs from all states took part. The object was to make as many contacts as possible with amateurs in other states. There are 60 amateurs in Tasmania, 5 of whom are in Launceston. Remember, this is 1954. Mr G. Kermsey said last evening that Tasmania was likely to lose to Western Australia or Queensland, but we had won in the last 3 contests. The winner will receive a trophy inscribed with the names of those amateurs who lost their lives. So that was 1954, and here it is 2023, and we've got the RD contest coming up in a couple of months. So here's your reminder to start thinking about the RD contest, how you're going to go about it, and how you're going to go about winning it. And the only way we can win it as a state from the other guys is to everybody get in there and do it. So dust off your antennas, dust off your radios. This is not a portable contest, so you can do it from the comfort of your own lounge room, or Radio Shack at least. So seriously think about it and prepare for it.
Last Tuesday evening, the 20th June, was the annual general meeting of the Peel Amateur Radio Group. The president, Jeff VK6 GHD, stood down after 3 years. The vice president, Paul VK6 LL, also stepped down, and as it happened, the secretary, Jenny VK6 JEN, also stood down from her position. The treasurer, Bruce VK6 CX, continued in his role. The following were voted into the vacant positions. They were: the new president is Jenny VK6 JEN, who is probably known to people for her sterling work regarding WinLink. She's also the co-coordinator of Parg Fox Hunts. The new vice president is Martin VK6MJ. The treasurer remains the same as usual. That's Bruce VK6CX. The new secretary is myself, Peter VK6PBS. And then the members: Graham, who continues, VK6MG in his role, and he's done a massive amount of work in the last 12 months on Parg 1 communications trailer, and he's continuing with that. Second member is Paul, former Vice President, VK6LL, who is also a member of the Mandurah SES, and as we use their meeting rooms, it's a good contact to have. The third member is a new face on the committee. That's Morris, VK6HLY, and Jeff, our former president for 3 years, now returns on the committee as VK6GHD, and everyone else was in attendance with various others as well, and apologies accepted. The next AGM meeting will be on the 18th of June next year, 2024, and in the meantime, our monthly meetings continue on the third Tuesday of every month at the SES headquarters in Mandurah in Education Drive, just behind Bunnings. We look forward to seeing everyone there, members and guests. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Kennedy, VK6SJ, with this week's episode of Did You Know? This week I thought I might do a deeper dive into Ham College. Ham College was formed in 2007 by Neil Husk, VK6BDO, now Silent Key. Neil was an ex-Navy radio operator who'd been a ham for a long time prior to then. Neil and a small team around him wrote the manual we still use to this day, prepared all the slides, etc., and mostly ran the course single-handedly, including foundation, standard and advanced courses. Another stalwart of the early days was Kathy, VK6KTS, who still stays involved with the college, and we lean on her for professional teaching expertise from time to time. The group uses the facilities of the Linwood Scout Hall at Whaleback Golf Course and also have a club station there assembled, which is used for practical testing as well as the odd contest. My involvement with the college started in 2017 when I turned up to see if I could assist in teaching the advanced and standard courses in some way. It happened to be an AGM and I forgot to stand back when everyone else did and ended up president on my first visit. A few months later, Neil embarked on a long-term and much-anticipated Around Australia holiday and I took over as the main presenter for the advanced and standard course. The first year was pretty good and quite easy, but all my students were engineers, so I think I ended up learning more than they did. One of them was Randall, VK6 Whiskey Romeo, who stayed on to assist in teaching and is now the main man for the advanced course. The next 2 years were a lot rougher, with the third year I was involved in the course having a really poor result. At that point, a bunch of new blood came into the committee. We split the teaching up across about 8 instructors, all under the watchful eye of Randall, and we had an immediate improvement in attendance and exam passes. This same format is still in place today and our pass rate is generally around 100% or very close to that. Most years see at least one student stay on to either assist in instructing or just get more involved in the group, which is very satisfying. So what is Ham College doing? We run a combined advanced standard course once a year, generally starting in March and completing in October or November. In addition, we run a foundation course every 2 months, normally attracting between 6 and 10 students. And we've also run ad hoc foundation courses for community groups, both face-to-face and across Zoom. Between the two programs, we're responsible for bringing between 70 and 100 new hams into the hobby each year. With the advanced course, while there are a few different and very valid ways to study for and pass the exam, some much quicker than our course, we've found that the methods we're using provide a good depth of knowledge that's allowed many of our members to become very competent hams. So at this point in time, Ham College is more than its fair share of doers. From running courses and exams, building a new 2-metre beacon, managing the IT system that's so important to the quality of our course, and keeping the club station on air and operational, the culture of the club is very healthy. It's single-mindedly focused on its core business of educating new and upgrading hams, and we have a great camaraderie amongst the members. So what next? We've often spoken about running more postgrad style courses like CW, digital modes, workshops, etc. But our issue is that if we take these kind of ventures on, we could run the risk of burning out our core group of instructors. We could do this if we had more volunteers to spread the load, and we would love to hear from anyone interested in becoming more involved in the college to carry out additional courses. We'd also love to have more engagement with all the various clubs in the Perth metro area, even if we are just assisting in clubs doing their own courses using our intellectual property. Another area we would love to engage more with is the scouting and guide movement. We see these movements as being the future of the hobby, without which we believe the hobby could be in trouble without. We do offer free foundation courses to scouts and guides, including their leaders, to aid in fostering this relationship, and would welcome any groups wishing to use our services to gain licences. If you're interested in learning more about Ham College, either as a student, instructor or volunteering your services to assist the college, you can contact us via our website hamcollege.org.au. We'd love to hear from you. Well, thanks for listening again. This has been Steve, VK6SJ, with another episode of Did You Know? If you'd like a text copy of this or any other articles, they will be posted to my blog page at dxradiosystems.com.au about 2 weeks after it's gone to air.
Before we get into this yarn, let me remind you that a camel is a horse designed by a committee. Now hold that thought. You might have heard this before in 2021, and it's worth repeating now, and I'll tell you why at the end. While researching some amateur radio history recently, I found some items about the planned resumption of amateur radio activity in Australia after World War II. So this was 1945. Keep that in your head. At the bottom of one item from Perth's Daily News on the 6th of September 1945 is a suggestion which is as remarkable in its originality of thought as is the mess in amateur radio licensing that ensued in the following years. This is what it said. Secretary C. Quinn of the Wireless Institute of Australia, WA Division, hopes that the ban will be lifted shortly. Requests have already been made from headquarters of the Institute in the eastern states. Suggestions have been forwarded from Western Australia for the grading of amateurs into 3 groups consisting of a new experimenter with restricted power, use of increased power automatically granted to an amateur with a pre-war licence, and C, subject to special examination, a higher power grade with higher technical knowledge. That's as close as darn it to what we have in place now, but goodness me, what a tortuous path it took us to get here between 1945 and 2005, when the present 3-tier licensing system was implemented. To save you counting on your fingers, that's 60 years. Somewhere between 1945 and 2005, we designed, clearly by committee, a convoluted system of licence levels that said you can do this but not that, unless of course you did the other thing, but in the right order. Something like that. The revised 3-tier licence levels introduced in 2005 simplified our amateur licensing structure, which in the early post-war years could have been a fine figure of a horse. However, what we developed was a camel. What we have now is a horse, albeit one in need of care and attention, but not in need of redesign by a committee. Like Banjo Patterson's stranger who wandered into Walgett town, we've been there before, and like him, we must learn from where we've been before. And you know what? I submitted this story to the WIA National News a couple of years ago, and they refused to put it to air because it was an opinion piece. Go think about that. That's the same mob who butchered up an interview between the 2 presidents of RASA and the Wireless Institute of Australia. Shame, shame, shame. Who said that? Anyway, I'm Bob, VK6POP.
This is Newswest, your amateur radio news on VK6ARN, originating on the Newswest linked repeater network and HF relays.
Hello, this is Peter, VK6PBS. I would like to read the Peel Amateur Radio Group President's Report for the financial years 2022-2023 for Jeff, VK6HD. He says, this year comes to a close with both the AGM and the committee elections looming. It's fitting to review what PARG has achieved over the last 12 months. As I reflect on this, it is with mixed feelings that I write this annual report following 3 years as the PARG president, but the one thing that has remained constant over the period has been the unwavering support from members. It was with much sorrow that we farewelled John Thompson, VK6GJT, who became a silent key after a long battle with cancer. Some members may not be aware that John had for some time been working behind the scenes to streamline our membership procedures. His infectious enthusiasm will be sorely missed by all, and our thoughts are with his family. On a more positive note, Graham, 6MG, achieved his full call as an amateur radio operator, and we had 3 new members to the club. Zach, who is based in Rockingham in the Navy. I don't know that he has a call sign as yet. VK3 VKI. Roger McDonald, who hails from VK3 land and is a new Mandurah resident. Timothy, VK3 MIT from Wangaratta. The past year saw a number of events, including on the 6th of August the PARG Birthday Bash, on the 13th and 14th of August the annual RD contest, on the 20th and 21st of August the ILLW, in which Jerry, VK6LJC, and I and our respective ex-whales took up residence on Rottnest Island for the weekend. On the 28th of August, NCRG Hamfest, at which I was incredibly fortunate to win the IC 705. On the 10th and the 11th of September, the May and Up Ham Camption, attended by Graham, 6MG on behalf of PARG. On the 8th of October, the Waroona Show, attended by Jerry, VK6LJC, Graham, VK6MG, Jen, VK6JEN, Martin, VK6MJ, Peter, VK6PBS, and myself. We took along the PARG 1 and showed it off to all the people and answered their questions about amateur radio. On the 20th of December, PARG Christmas meeting, ably organised by Peter, VK6PBS. On the 11th of February, the Parg Swap Meet, and on the 18th and 19th of March, the annual John Moyle Field Day. This was the first opportunity to give Graham's modifications to Parg 1 a try, and was attended by many members, including Graham, 6MG on Peter, VK6 PBS, Jen, VK6 JEN, Martin, VK6 MJ, and on the 26th of March, Parg Working Bee at SES headquarters to erect an HF long wire antenna. On the 27th of April, International Morse Code Trivia Night, the results of which I can't recall. However, as usual, it was great fun. In our 40th year, we once again hosted our annual swap meet at the Mandurah Bowling Club. Many members helped make the day a success. However, I'd like to acknowledge in particular the efforts of Jen, VK6JEN, in setting up and managing the raffle. I would also like to thank our sponsors, TET Mtron and Future Systems, for continuing to support both Parg and our annual swap meet. Congratulations to the following prize winners in our swap meet raffle. The first prize was an IC 7300 plus a $100 Mtron voucher that went to Ian Garnett. The second prize, an IC 2730 and a $50 Mtron voucher, went to Roger McDonald. The third was a Hustler 5 BTVHF vertical and a $50 Mtron voucher that went to Timothy McBain. The fourth, an IC T100 plus a $50 Mtron voucher, went to Terry Jarvins. The fifth was a 403A antenna switch plus $50 Mtron voucher, went to Colin Jenkinson. The sixth, a $100 Mtron voucher, went to David Ormond. And lucky David Robson won both the 7th and 8th prizes, which were $50 Mtron vouchers, so that adds up to 100. Alongside the specific events, a number of other regular activities continued during the period, including regular on-air CW training provided by Tony, VK6DQ, weekly afternoon, evening CQ QRS slow CW practice sessions on 80 metres hosted by Mark, VK2KI, and well attended by many in national and international operators. Regular slow CW corroboree contests organised by Mark, VK2KI. Weekly WinLink nets hosted by Jenny, VK6JEN. Regular Sunday afternoon 40-metre skids hosted by Jerry, VK6LJC. Regular 2-hour field days organised by members to operate the VKFF parks and SOTA locations. Annual Parg Birthday Bash, our annual fun phone contest. Members participated in the Southern Electronics Group's Hamfests in Quiddanup and Katanning. Peter, VK6 PBS, has been busy establishing a Parg fox hunting capability, and as I write, has built a couple of units, actually 3 or 4. He has also been liaising with other metro and regional clubs with the aim of Parg hosting regular fox hunts and also taking part in the fox hunts of the other clubs. I must add that I, Peter, VK6 PBS, are ably assisted by our new president, Jen, VK6JEN. In addition to being our secretary, Jen, VK6JEN, has been busy hunting QRM in various locations, so she's becoming something of an expert in that. As a consequence of our successful fundraising activities, Parg has committed to establishing several new capabilities, including a dedicated WinLink radio mail service to be installed at SES headquarters in Mandurah, and a remote HF station, location to be confirmed, but we're pretty close to it. Both these capabilities signal a big increase in Parg providing community radio resources, and our sincere thanks go to Jen, VK6JEN, and the WinLink team, including our second Victorian member, Timothy, VK3MIT, who's located in Wangaratta, and Mark, VK2KI, who is located in Yass, New South Wales, for providing the leadership for these projects. Graham, VK6MG, has completed a huge amount of work on Parg 1, which has resulted in an increased operational capability and more user-friendly environment. So numerous were the modifications, I simply can't recall them all. However, the major ones include a platform to allow safer and easier operation of the Clark mast, intelligent placing of equipment, a rear step, gas struts for the flaps, and much more. Graham has completed the work largely unaided and on your behalf. I once again acknowledge his contribution. Peter, VK6 PBS, myself, has updated the PARG 1 standard operating procedures to ensure all members can use the new capability with ease. Martin, VK6MJ, and Chris, VK6XH, installed an all-star node built by Mark, VK2KI, in the PARG repeater, which has significantly increased the use and utility of the club facility. Martin, VK6MJ, has continued to develop our mesh network, including expansion of the voice network, experimentation with the transfer of files and video, and a work in progress to repair the SES headquarters mesh node. Changes to our website hosting arrangements precipitated development of a new website, which was managed by Martin, VK6MJ. The new website is much improved and, amongst other things, provides a traffic light status of the club's assets, including the repeater and all-star modes. We had several tech talks during the period, including from Steve Kennedy of DX Systems, who provided a great presentation on remote HF systems, and Peter, VK6PBS, and Jen, VK6JEN, on fox hunting. Following an unfortunate incident which saw our 2-metre repeater licence temporarily expire, Bruce, VK6BW, and Martin, VK6MJ, have been working with the WIA to harmonise our licence expiration dates, the net result of which will be a reduction in our compliance workload. As if it wasn't enough for 12 months, we've strengthened our relationship with metro and regional clubs, including Haag, WA VHF Group, Bunbury Radio Club, Southern Electronics Group, and other WA clubs. Mark, VK2KI, and more recently Peter, VK6PBS, have produced a number of entertaining and informative PARG audio segments for both the WA National News and Newswest. Going forward, I'm sure that PARG will continue to build on the significant achievements of the past year. After 3 years as President, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to each member of the committee and their families for their outstanding efforts and support. In particular, I would like to thank our Secretary, Jen, VK6JEN, for her support. And finally, thank you all members who have helped, organised and participated in activities throughout the year. Thanks to your support and efforts, PARG has become known around Australia as the Club of Renown, and I've been very, very pleased to have been a part of it.
This is VK6ARN, and you're listening to Newswest.
The Radio Amateur Society of Australia is a national representative body for amateur radio. It was put up to service some gaps in amateur radio representation and amateur radio resources in the country. If you don't know what RASA does, pop along to the website vkradioamateurs.org. Some of the really good things that RASA supports is QRM Guru. If you haven't looked at QRM Guru, you should. There's another website called vkregs.info, and that's some explanations of regulations in Australia. That's very useful. There's an amateur radio welcome pack, which is given to clubs to hand out to new radio candidates. Another site is called Amateur Radio Tech Support. These are all linked to from the RASA website. Have a look. And I'll tell you what, the other good thing we provide is the QTC magazine. It's online, it's free. In fact, everything that RASA provides, apart from the QRM kill kits, because there's money involved in putting them together and sending them out. But everything online there, it's all free, we don't charge, and you don't have to be a member to do it, to see it, to play with it. It's all free and open. Off you go, vkradioamateurs.org.
Good morning, VK6 X-Ray Victor with this week's helpline for the 25th of June. Today I have the following from Glenn, VK6 Lima Golf Bravo, who has a high gain DH3 Junior 3-element tri-band beam with 10, 15 and 20 metre Yagi antenna for sale. It's as new, unused, still in the box, normally around $995. He's selling it for $750, a bit of a discount there. Ideal for mast mounting, suitable for up to 600 watts PEP, with an average gain of 5.8 dBd. Forward back ratio 25 dB average. Pick up at Rockingham, that's where it's at. Contact Glenn if you're interested. His mobile number 0411 407720. Again 0411 407720. Email to VK6 Lima Golf Bravo at hotmail.com. Max Marconi signal generator has finally left the building. That's gone, so thank you for that. And cluttering up his space in his backyard is an 18 metre triangular butt section guide mast consisting of 4 sections, and it's 215mm cross section. Comes with complete bottom and mounting plate, top gizmo for the 50mm tube and bolts and join all together, but no go wires. Asking $200 or willing to donate to any group who can convince Mac that it is a worthwhile project for him to donate it to. Please contact Mac 0417 977 765, 0417 977 765, or the email address is victorkilo6mike@iinet.net.au, victorkilo6mike@iinet.net.alpha uniform. And Tony may still have a Harris Romeo 2368 military HF receiver, solid state synthesized HF receiver, digital display, covers from 10 kilohertz to 30 megahertz in 1 hertz step, fully functional including sensitivity, $950. Contact Tony, VK6 Charlie Victor, 0419 961 399, 0419 961 399. Still got one more to go. A small variable power supply is still available from Clive. It's a variable DC power supply. If you would like more details, please contact Clive, VK6 Charlie Sierra Whiskey. His email address is cswallace@hotmail.com. I'll say his email address, Charlie Sierra Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima India Sierra @hotmail.com for further details on that power supply. That's it for me. If you have anything for next week, please contact me. That's Roy VK6 X-Ray Victor at bigpond.com. I've cleared most of the VK6 backlog. There was 22,000 emails in there. No wonder no one else could get through. If you'd like to contact me now, it's probably get through pretty easily. VK6 X-Ray Victor 73.
I'd like to thank all the volunteers, contributors and broadcasters each week, as without you it wouldn't be possible to produce the weekly news. Please remember to send your contributions into Newswest at vk6.net before midday Fridays. Also, before I go, remember Newswest is also available now as text on the vk6.net website. And I'm VK6FCRC. Please stand by after the idents for callbacks.